Hello, and welcome to the Voices Project. I'm Liz Barker, and I'm joined by Becky Webb. And together on this podcast, we talk to people about their experiences of the arts during the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis of 2020. This week, we have an excellent interview with Angela de Castro, an award-winning clown, theatre practitioner, actor, director, and speaker. De Castro is the clown in charge and artistic director at the Not Institute, and we spoke about her career in the arts, what she has been doing to keep going through the pandemic, and what the future might look like. There is some explicit language in this week's podcast, and there is some very honest discussion about mental health, and for one brief moment there is a mention of suicide. If you, or anyone you know, are struggling with their mental health right now, please know that you are not alone. We have a list of well-being and mental health resources on our website at www.marchforthearts.com/post/mental-health-through-the-crisis. I'll put that link in the description of the podcast because it is a little bit long. Like everything in this pandemic, the podcast is recorded over remote video conferencing software. The Voices Project is an open platform for anyone who is involved in any way with the arts to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences of art in the current crisis. If you would like to participate and share your voice, you can find out how to do that by visiting our website.
Welcome everyone to our Voices podcast. It's a massive honour and privilege to have here the sort of wonderful, formidable Angela de Castro from the Not Institute, who is a clown and teacher, mentor, all-round wonderful human. So welcome de Castro to our Voices podcast. Thank you for taking the time to come and speak to us. We really appreciate it. So we'll just kick off how we normally do with our sort of questions to you. So to start off, what's your journey, de Castro? Tell us a bit about you and how you got into the arts and what's been your journey thus far.
Oh, hello everybody. Thank you for having me. My journey in the arts started 52 years ago. So I'm an oldie on the arts nowadays. I started very young. I started when I was 12 and doing youth theater. And then afterwards, I became a professional actor. My career always been a bit by accident, a bit being on the right place at the right time and taking risks and do you want to do this? Oh yeah, why not? I go and do and blah, blah, blah. So that's how I become an actor, professional actor in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I didn't go to any drama schools. I kind of, my career was in doing it, in going from one job to another, and I done a lot of workshops, and these workshops always take me somewhere to a production. So in Brazil, I work in very high-profile plays, like what would be the West End over here. And I've done a lot of musicals, all sorts of theater and productions and films and adverts. Was kind of a conventional actor. And when I was about 21, 22, I was involved in a very big production in São Paulo, which traveled all over the world for 4 years. It was the first production in Brazil that introduced devising work and physical theater work. And was adaptation of a book that was very famous in Brazil about how the Brazilians lost their cultural identity to the influence of the European culture. And that was a big deal at that time. And took me all over 4 years traveling non-stop. At that time, I realized that I was a kind of different actor. I done things that none of the other actors would do, because people go to schools and they have a kind of theater language or a way of performing. But because I didn't go, and I had influences from different people, very varied directors or teachers, I didn't have that, and that was very different. I was always connecting with the audience or giving the contrapoint, or not particularly doing as it should be done. And therefore, I was different. I was a bit odd. The directors always like it because I always come up with something else and no one did. But that started bothering me because I wasn't like the others, and said, what's wrong with me? Until I come to Europe, and in a big festival in Freiburg in Germany, I saw a theater clown show. It was a very simple show with a guy with 2 chairs and 1 brown parcel. And the whole show was about passing the parcel from one chair to another. And there was no words, there was music, there's no mime, and it was so moving. And on the end of the show, I asked, what is this? And somebody said, oh, it's clowning. I said, bullshit. That's not clowning. You know, there is no red nose or makeup or big shoes, colorful clothes. And said, no, that is the theater clown. Think about Lauren Hardy, think about Fellini, Giulietta Massina, and I start saying all these names that I knew and I could relate. And I said, okay, that's what I am. I'm this. I went back to Brazil. No one ever heard about it. You know, that was before internet, before all this, you know. We talk about 1907 something. and I saw, oh God, 1980 that was. And I said, oh God, don't know what I'm gonna do now. And I started researching and asking. Nobody knew. 6 years later, I opened my own company. A few years later, I opened my own company, and I started doing it, what I thought it could be okay. And was very successful, must say. My company was really successful. We won all the awards. We done 3 productions, all 1 year on. Was very good. But I was full of anxiety. My heart was very tight because it was successful, but wasn't what I saw in Europe. That wasn't what I really want to do. And I felt very bad about it. And I said, I have to do something. And what I'm going to do, maybe I do some meditation, maybe I do something. And when another invitation to come to Europe came, and I came to Europe again in 1986 to do a show, a tour in Portugal and France. And on the end of the tour, I come to London to visit a friend of mine and go back to Brazil feeling a bit better and getting on with my company over there. And but my friend here said, there is a clown workshop just about to start. Exactly this style you keep talking about. So I stayed to do this course in here, in London. I stayed. It was a big decision for me because I didn't speak any English and I wasn't prepared to be here any longer in Europe. But I stayed because my friend asked, when would you have another chance? I'm here, I can help you. I called my business partner in Brazil who said, okay, just stay, you'll be okay, blah, blah, blah. And that was an amazing time of my life because I found my family, really. I found where did I belong and where I belonged. And the people in there on this class, there are some people I'm still friends with and still performs and still in the arts. And my teacher at that time, a woman called Frankie Anderson, is still my mentor nowadays. So I've been here 34 years, and she's still my mentor. And so it was a very important time in my life, because when you arrive in a country, when you don't know the culture, you don't know the language, and you don't know anybody, is a completely rebirth, put like that. And you have to learn how to speak, how to behave, how to relate with people. Was a massive, massive learning for me. And I was already 31 years old, and so I wasn't that young, already had a career, but I have to be very humble. And all was very worthwhile because I was doing what I wanted to do, which was clowning, theater clowning. And so I stay, was wonderful and very hardcore, no money, no understanding anything. People think I'm dumb because I can't understand. So they started speaking louder with big gestures. And I have to learn how to say, look, I don't speak English, but I'm not deaf. Don't need to shout. And, and, and then after the 3 months, it was a 3-month course. After that, I decided to do the advanced course, which was another 3 months. So I stayed another 3 months, and then I was going to go back to Brazil because that was it. But they gave me a party, a living party in Hay-on-Wye, in Wales, in a clown festival. And so off I went, to this party, and there I met even more people. And I said my goodbyes, come back to London, I'm going. And then 3 days later, I got this call. My friend got the call because I couldn't speak yet. And speak on the phone was even worse. So my friend talked with this person who was inviting me to do an audition for a circus company, a circus theater company in Bristol called Mama and Dada. And I went to the audition just because, out of curiosity, I want to know how auditions were done in England. So off I went. They were looking for a one-woman clown. Off I went. It was brilliant. It was a whole day audition there. And all these amazing, there were 10 women, and all these women, they were amazing. They could do all sorts of things, playing instruments, doing this, doing that. I was so amazed about it and how they run the auditions. But myself, I couldn't do anything. I done nothing. And, and this guy, they start saying, what can you do? I said, nothing. I can't do anything. They are very good. You should get them, And, but in the end, they said, oh, can you sing a song? I said, okay, I can sing a song. I can hold a tune. And I want to impress, and I want to sing in English. So I sang Happy Birthday to You. And because it was the only song I knew. And I got very excited about it and very into the singing. And then I started singing different rhythms. Then I decided to sing in Portuguese. Then I translated the Portuguese. So I was half an hour singing Happy Birthday to You. I went back home and I said, oh, I sang Happy Birthday to You for half an hour, laughing away. And then a day later, I got the job.
See, I know the story of that audition, De Castro. That's how I first heard about you, was being told the story of that audition. And so, yeah, it's famous.
No, that was very funny because, when you don't want it. I didn't want the job. Do you know what I mean? I was there out of pure curiosity. And there was a lot of anecdotes in the middle of it because they say, oh, bring loose clothes. Okay, loose clothes. For somebody who doesn't speak English, loose clothes mean clothes. They are very big. They're huge. And so I had a very big shorts. So I took my big shorts and big t-shirt and off I went. And then they said, bring an instrument. Okay. I brought an instrument I found. There was one of those beagles, that horns. I arrived there, during the day we have to do stuff, improvising. The elastic of my shorts went, so I have to keep holding my trousers and then my short. And then I twist my foot, so I was limping and holding my shorts and holding my instrument at the same time. And then when they said, "Oh, can you play your instrument?" I said, "Well, you didn't say I had to play it. You said, bring it. I brought it. I can't play it."
Yeah.
No. So that's all these things that people don't realize when you don't speak the language. You have to be really clear about what you mean. And all the whole day on the audition, I was laughing away because I thought, what absurd. What I'm fucking doing here? I can't understand a word. I was always behind, and and I was just laughing away, thinking about, oh my God, what absurd. And in the end, I end up getting the job, and the organizer of this group is Dean Mason. He's an amazing guy who creates Circomedia in Bristol, this amazing circus school. And he said, "Oh, we couldn't take our eyes out of you. You find all your visas and everything, and we want you." So I have to then call my friend in Brazil and say, "Look, I have this opportunity here, and it's amazing thing. It's a group of clowns and acrobats and all that. I want to do this." And it was nice because my friend there also had offer of a job in a television to be director of comedy programs. So we folded our company, we gave our staff away, we shared the money we had with everyone, because it was big. We had about 50 people working for us at that time. So we folded, and I stay here. My friend becomes a millionaire, and I become a missionaire, because really, clowning and theater, we don't make any money at all. We just go by. And that's how I started in here, and it was an amazing time and amazing group of people. I learned a hell of a lot with them. My English improved. We live in a bus. We travel all over Europe and Russia, and was 4 years working with them. And in between the tours, I then started doing my training in physical theater. So done Gaulier, Lassade, and Pierre Bilan. I done Desmond Jones, mime school. I went everywhere, all the workshops, long or short, and it was an amazing time. And just add to my training in Brazil as well, that never been in one school or one line, always been very, very diverse. And I started putting all together. So during this time, I also devised my first show, and I started developing my first clown persona. And the show I wrote very fast, but took me 4 years to perform for the first time, because the clown wasn't ready and was too precious to me to kind of, for vanity or pressure, to put a show that the clown wasn't ready to play. So after Mamorandada, I then started playing this show. It was very nice. I took to Edinburgh, won an award there for this small half an hour non-spoken clown show. And then I toured for a long time with this show. And then I start working with another company called Rara Zoo. That at the time was a very prominent circus theater company as well. It was very sweet. Done a couple of shows and tours with them. And at this time, after I done all this touring and this performing, I wanted to learn more. I want to see where I'm going to go now to keep researching on clowning. There is more to it. And that's when I start teaching as a way of research. My mentor, Frankie, invited me to be her assistant. And because she wanted me to run 2 days, it was a 2 weeks, 10 days course, and she wants me to run 4 days on these 10 days. And I said, oh, I can't possibly do that. Don't know, who am I? And she said, no, you can. No, I can't. No, you can. No, I can't. Look, you want me, so you have to do it for me. And so I did. And when I did, I discovered how much we can learn when you teach. So teaching is a way of learning. It can't be separated from the act of searching, of researching, and of beauty. You see, so it's an amazing experience to be sharing something and to have your eyes open to see what's happening in front of you. And therefore, I develop my own practice, and it develops as I go along. So that has been going on for quite a long time now. I've been teaching for 25 years or so. And it started as a very small 2 days group, 2 days workshop, becomes 3 days, becomes 5 days, becomes 6 days. And then on the 2002, I think, becomes 8 weeks. It started going as I start understanding more about it and how to pass it on to someone with honesty, with integrity, to don't cheat, and to also follow my own beliefs, what I think it is. Clowning is a very particular thing. Each one of us have our own identity and our own way to perceive the art form. So there isn't a wrong thing. There is different ways, different approach. Nobody I know that are clown teachers, they set up to be teachers. They set up to be clowns and end up teaching for one way or another. So for a long time, I combine performing and teaching. One feeds the other. I can't just teach without performing because I have to put myself on the line as well. And I'm doing all this teaching to improve myself as a performer. So it goes both ways. It needs to have a balance on this. So that's how I got involved with the arts. And amazingly, I always end up in different places. So my practice, the workshops end up in an amazing different discipline. So corporate, voice coaches, therapists, teachers address failing on the education system and how the teachers are performers on the classroom because they have to engage their audience, which are their students. And it's interesting because it's same performer with the same audience, but different subject every day, different text. So that was very nice. Took me to write a model for teachers training in Holland. I mean, how can you believe in this? End up in Holland doing this, you know? And anyway, so the course now is very solid. Don't know, it's amazing, it's nice, it's a good thing to do. Different modules for it. And the performing now is a bit less than the teaching is, because I'm also under a lot of pressure. You have, don't know, I had a bit, my profile really raised when I done this snow show in London in '96. I done from 96 to 99, 95 to 99. And it was an amazing experience of taking clowning to the mainstream, to the West End. And I done the show for 4 years. It was the closest I get to be a pop star. Was very, very famous. And I kind of created the show with this lover in the beginning, create a clown that is known as the Green Clown. And he copyrighted my image, so I couldn't play this clown anywhere else, and he puts other people to play it, which is upsetting for me because I created myself, and the guy has a name, and the guy has identity, and is being copied by other people. But never mind. Well, it gave me this profile. When I finished these 4 years in 99, I decided then to take advantage of this profile to create the Why Not Institute. So the Why Not Institute is now 21 years old and was created out of my passion for the art form and thinking that clowning deserves a place that is only clowning, is not linked with circus or anything else. And it's a gray area, really, because you don't know where, it's a misfit. You don't know where to place it. It's not mime, it's not theater, it's not dance. What is it? It's clowning. It has its own place, but people don't recognize it. People, it's a long battle. Holding this flag a long time, because during all this time I've been running these workshops, I have a lot of actors, West End actors, directors, comedians, all sorts of people that come to be fed by clowning, but never gives the credit. So anyway, we're here, we're surviving. There is a whole new generation of clowns up there as well, and we're changing the way we're doing it. So, and that's what it is. So that's my involvement with the arts.
Thank you. I could just sit. I'm just like listening. I'm like, just for ages. But obviously, we have to talk about 2020, and this is why we're here. Is the pandemic, and I know how it has affected you. It has had an effect. Obviously, the Why Not is live, it's in room, it's teaching, it's workshops, it's face-to-face, it's performance. So if you could just, if it's all right, to maybe just talk about how this has affected the Why Not, and you as a freelancer as well, what has been the effects and the impact of this pandemic on the work and you?
Right, well, it has been tragic, really. Not only for myself, but for my whole industry, for all the theater, the arts, everyone, is being terrible. It is, what's happens to me, happens in phases, right? So on the very beginning, there was that panic about, what I'm going to do, what we're going to do, what's going on, all the uncertainty of everything that we didn't know how long that is going to last or what's going to happen. So the first thing was that shock and trying to absorbing and to understand the dimension of it all. And especially if you, I was very hooked to what was going on other countries, to know more or less, to have an idea of what was coming. And on the first instance, the effect in terms of the Why Not was very big, because we were just about to do the Why Not Festival of Clowning, to celebrate 21 years. So that is being produced organized for 6 months and was going to happen at Jackson's Lane Art Center in London. And there was over 100 people involved with it. There was going to be talks and debates and workshops and a variety show with performers that have been through the Why Not through the years. So we have people from the first year, from 1999, performing on the variety show. So it was a big shift, really. It was a big down for the Why Not, because the profile would be good and all that would be wonderful to have as a celebration. Over these 21 years, we have a lot of people involved, the community. We create a big community. So everybody calls, everybody wants to be around, and all over the world, not only on the UK. We have people as far as China, Australia, America, Canada, Brazil, and all over Europe and the UK. So South Africa, for example, we have people from all over, and was going to be a good celebration for us. So on the first instance, it was about counseling stuff, not knowing when you're going to do, maybe we'll do in the autumn, maybe, was all that, which was very, very upsetting. On the beginning, there is that adrenaline of organizing things and counseling and calling people. But actually, when it comes on the week, the workshop was going to, the festival was going to happen, many people start calling and feeling upset that we would be together at that time, which was the end of April, beginning of May. So that was the first instance of it. Then I get a bit numb about it. Certain people just flew over the internet and started doing all this Zoom stuff and teaching on the Zoom. Lots of pressure on me to say what I'm going to do on Zoom, why don't I do on Zoom, why I don't, blah, blah, blah. And I just couldn't understand how could I. I have so much respect for the art form, and I don't want to do anything just for the sake of doing. I respect what I believe, and I can't. There was a lot of pressure on me, but I just can't do something that I can't understand well, or I'm not absolutely sure that is safe, is emotionally secure, which kind of material I'm going to teach. So I didn't do at all. I was still trying to understand what is going on, and again, giving myself an allowance to grieve for the life I used to live, or the way I used to work. And I talked with my mentor, who said the same thing. You have to grieve. So don't do what other people are doing just for the sake of doing. You have to follow your own thing. And I got really, really sad. There is also something on the parallel, because before the pandemic, I have the news that I have to move the space where the Why Not is. The Why Not is based at Stratford Circus Art Center in East London. It's been here for a long time, almost 10 years. And suddenly, the building, the trust, the Stratford Circus Trust, has to leave the building. So we knew that was going to happen. And the festival was something that would help us as well to try to find somewhere else, showing what we could do, and so there was a whole campaign going on to find another place. But then with the pandemic, we couldn't do the festival, and the whole thing about the having to leave the building didn't go away. Nowadays, we are now in mid-September, we still have to leave. We have another 6 weeks, 8 weeks, more or less, to leave. It's still uncertain. So on top of the pandemic, there was this as well, this pressure of where we're gonna go. You know, it's a place where we meet. It's a place where things happens, you know, and we organize ourselves. And so there was that as well. And then there was this thing about being isolated. Well, personally, I lost a lot of work. I had 2 tours to do, one on the summer, the other one the autumn, with 2 different shows. I have shows to direct. I have workshops to run abroad and on the UK. So my loss of work and earnings were quite big. And for me, what's happened on these months is that I am what I do. If I can't do, I can't be. So I got lost. It's like if I lost myself, and I completely in limbo, absolute in limbo. In all this lockdown, I've been staring at the window and trying to see what is going on, how am I going to deal with it, and trying to feel it, to see on me what is the answer, where am I going to go, what's my direction. That was very hard, because there was also the pressure, not the pressure, but a responsibility with the community that the Why Not created. So we have 2,000 people in our community all over the world. And where is the Why Not to support all these people? You know, we can't just disappear. You know, so I then saw a video, a Brazilian video. And I was feeling, oh my God, we can't touch anybody. And Brazilians, we're very tactile. You know, we touch, we kiss, we hug. You know, we touch people as we're talking with them. You know, and I was feeling terrible about that. I can't do this, I can't do this. Oh my God, what I'm gonna do? And I saw somehow by chance a clip of a group, a Brazilian dance group that done work on hugging, what it means not be able to hug for them. I was very inspired by that, really inspired. And therefore, I decided, okay, we're going to do the Why Not Hugs project. That's the way to be out there and to engage people. So I call, well, that's the good thing about the Why Not, isn't it? Because you have all sorts of people. You have choreographers, musicians, filmmakers, all sorts, you know, accountants, teachers, all sorts. So I call somebody that does movement, and I said, look, do you want to do this? I thought maybe we could call somebody else to find the music, a song that is royalty free and blah blah blah. And so we had a little group, a video maker. We had a little group. We decided to do that, a little team. We done a choreography. We send it, and then I send the choreography to at least 50 people on the Why Not list, and 20 of them send their clips. And then you put together the little video, you know, that you can see on the Why Not website, which is the hugs. And that was very nice because it put all of us together, and the Why Not was then a part of engaging its community, was also giving something to the world. And it was very nice to do, and it's very nice that it's concrete and tangible, so people can see we'll be there for eternity. And that was a very good thing for me. It lifted my spirit. And then I started doing things that people invite me to do. So I was in lots of forums. I done few podcasts. I spoke in different places. I participate, and that was very nice because attracted new people to the Why Not. And then we decided to do a clown choir, which turned up to be such a challenge because technically you don't sing together. It was a nightmare to put that together, and to make it easier, I wanted to do a video of it as well, not just the workshop. And that put together a lot of people. There was the team was 6 people, and there was 18 singers in there. And to make even more easier, I call a musical director in Brazil. So there was a difference of timing, the times, what time people were all over the world. So we have people from East Europe, from Ireland, from Brazil, from America, different parts of America. One is in New York, the other one is in Georgia, and so on, you know. But we did it. And it was 2 weeks of it. And another month to prepare it, right? And on that 2 weeks, again, we're not isolated. We were with people, and we're being creative, and we're looking forward to meet and to go and sing, and we had homework, and it was a wonderful activity. That happens. The video is still to come out because it's very complex. Technically, it's a nightmare.
So with that then, going forward, like with that then, is that going to be more of a plan? What is the plan for you going forward with the Why Not? Is there a plan? What does the future look like for you and the Why Not?
There is a plan. Yeah, there is a plan. What's happened, what I found that this lockdown and this pandemic is, the effect of it, is that everything is a bit slow. You know, I think there is an effect on people's mental health. When you ask people how they are, they say, I mean, up and down. So I have down times. Everybody has down times. So one thing that would take 3 days to do takes 2 weeks sometimes because people can't cope. Or I have to deal with a lot of deaths during this time. I lost a lot of friends. I had suicides, and lots of people that were dear to me that I wasn't close, but I knew of, and there were references to me, also died. And that takes its toll, because for me it does. I'm a very emotional person. It shocks me, and immobilizes me. And again, I'm a bit slow. So we done a video, we done a campaign to find a new place for the Why Not, is having responses to it. It's quite amazing, the responses we're having. But again, we are unfunded. We're not a charity. So we don't have that much money to pay big rents, very expensive rents. So far, we are negotiating with one venue that looks quite okay. We have another one, they have a few other choices, and we have to compromise. And so the plan is we have to literally move places, move spaces. But we are putting an application on to adapt our work to our online work, to create new formats for the work, for the Why Not, how the Why Not can operate and sustain on the next phase, the next couple of years or so, don't know. And so there is this plan. We also opened the Why Not Cafe, which again is something for the community where people can just meet. You don't need to do anything. It's very laid back. It's just to chat, because we are a small group and we don't have any money, so it's all free, and our time is free to organize these things. So it's a bit slow, but we're getting there. You know, I'm better now, so I can drive better the projects. And so the next one is going to be a bingo on the cafe, and then you might do a quiz, and then you might just do nothing, just hang out. So we organizing this a bit better, but there are things that are urgent now, like the moving and the application we're going to put. You have new ideas for new modules of workshops or interactions that can be good. It just needs to organize it a bit better. So I want to do a popping class. There is the Outside the Eye, which is kind of directing in the distance, having a look at people's shows and all sorts of things like this. And then we're going to come in with the new whatever you can do online, because in January, we normally run our workshops, the Winter Clown School. At this point, we don't know how that is going to be. What's the protocol? If you can actually run it with face-to-face, how that is going to be, and or how can we do something online? There are ideas of shows and stuff that I really would like to do. I would like to have the Why Not Singers, which we could rehearsal online, and then on the regions, depends where people are, they could go and sing somewhere under the Why Not umbrella. So there is that. Also, I'm already thinking about how the Why Not Festival of Clowning can happen, if it is possible next year. So that all takes time. You know, that takes a lot of time. All the shows I was going to do personally as an actor is being postponed with no time to come back. They have the grant, so they have to do it. So certain point will happen. I am involved with a LGBT project called the Butch Monologues, that are doing a documentary at the moment. And so I'm involved with that. And so that is the plan. The plan is to move spaces, to apply. I decided to apply in small chunks because the capacity, my capacity, and the Why Not team capacity, which has about 5 people involved, each one with their own practices and stuff. But I'm very lucky to have a creative producer at the moment called Sasha Gosling, and that makes a huge difference. Also, Becky is involved, and there are, you know, other people involved, which makes a hell of a difference to have a company, you know, to have people that think alike and have the same commitment to this amazing art form. So it's never been only about me. It's been about clowning, you know. So that is the plan, you know, to have to sustain the institute and to create new formats for the work that can last this period that you are living. It's a learning, so it's a new language. It takes time. And also is a research on where clowning can go. Can we clown remotely? Can we clown at distance? Clowning is something that is so face-to-face, that needs the people, the engagement with the people. The react of the audience makes you perform, feeds you to deliver your performance in a different way. So that's a research that needs to be done. Can we clown remotely? Or can we train clown remotely? I'm interested on that. So that's so is to do the workshops dispersed, and then to go into performances, and then go into the festival. So
right. There is a plan, and it will happen. We will survive.
Something will happen. We are in constant movement. The world is in constant movement. We have to change with it. And there are people that changes faster, has more facility to adapt a different speed, a different rhythm. And there are people that are slow. I'm slow. I'm like a cow that ruminates, what I mean? Ruminates until do something, what I mean? I'm slow. But when I do it,
slow and steady wins the race, De Castro. There's no rush. But the one final thing then that we like to ask people is, if you were in a room with, should you want to, not really, be in a room with Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak, and Oliver Dowden, or the trio of doom, as we like to.
As they are becoming known.
Yes. As Liz likes to say, our current Prime Minister, Boris Johnson.
At the time of recording, we can confirm Boris Johnson is currently the Prime Minister.
If you were in a room with them, what would you want to say to them? What would you like them to do? What is it that you want from them?
Well, I would say get the grip.
Mm-hmm.
Get the grip. I don't trust you guys. I don't know what you're doing. Your mother should be very ashamed of yourselves. I would say that. How come the arts and culture is the last of our list? That for me is a disgrace. I feel offended to the core, to the bone, that the culture and the artists especially are not taking consideration. It was the last ones, and also treated as freelancers like any other freelancer. So I'm not diminishing any other occupation, but honestly, to have the hairdressers open before the theater, to have other places open or being addressed or being thought about how to do before the culture. For me, that it shows a lot about the government and the principles of a government. For me, is a government that doesn't honor its culture. It's a disgrace. Something is very wrong with these people. What's wrong with you? When you're in locking down, for example, what kept the people going? Reading a book, listening to music, watching the TV, watching films, watch things on the internet, series. The National Theatre start streaming their plays, and all these sort of people, entertainment. That's what kept the people going, entertainment. Then, who does the entertainment? Artists, technicians, directors, creative people. They are people. And for me, that is a nightmare that this government didn't recognize that. And how do we make our livings? The whole industry. Not just the performers, but who is behind. The ripple effect that causes in electricians, publicists, in press officers, in all sorts of people, in printers that printed the posters. Okay, the whole thing, the dressmakers, the assistants, the set designers, the wig makers. I mean, all that. And the actors and writers and all this. So I found that this a disgrace. I really find that this a disgrace. And there are many artists that are now leaving the arts and getting other jobs, becoming something else. And also, I think about, okay, they then is giving some money for the arts and the theaters can open now, or this or that, blah, blah, blah. But I also think about the very small companies. You know, the avant-garde companies, the companies that are marginals anyway, but are the ones that in the future might bring new stuff for the culture, for the arts in general. You know what I mean? For example, Peter Brook was a marginal years ago. Pina Bausch was a marginal, and then becomes mainstream. Physical theater was something very alternative, and now is mainstream because somebody dared to do it. It started taking a risk. It's about taking risks. Taking risks is a part of learning, a part of the creative mind. Otherwise, you do the same thing all the time. So I would say that to this government. I don't trust this government. All these policies they're giving, for example, about masks or about how it's called, track and they think about the test and track or all that, is up to interpretation. Because the British people don't like to be told, hey, we need to be told, because otherwise you go to a place, there are people with a mask, there are people without a mask, there are people very close to you, and they feel offended if you ask them to put a mask, because the government is not clear, it's just suggesting. So it misses clarity, also misses integrity. The situation with Dominic Cummings, for example. You know, which kind of thing is that? So for me, this government is an elite of privileged, rich people. They only see to themselves and to their kind. A minority imposing things on a huge nation. For me, that is what I would say for, and there is another thing, because Boris Johnson was called a clown some time ago. I felt terribly offended. Terribly offended. A clown is somebody that is an artist or is somebody that thinks about humanity as a whole and not individual, what is there for me or for my kind. So to call Boris Johnson a clown is an offense to a very noble art form, and this man is not noble. Anything but.
I think very much so. I agree. And when you mentioned that it needs clarity and integrity, I was like, they are two qualities of a very good clown. So yeah, actually, he's not a clown. He's the opposite.
It's the opposite. It's all very, you know, I think that I felt so disrespected. I kind of dedicate my life. Since I was 12 years old, I'm now 65, dedicate my life to that. I'm still asking questions. I haven't retired. I'm not repeating what I found. I'm still looking for different things, what's new, still having relationships with young crowds, intergeneration thing for me to keep up to date. You know, I don't have all the answers. Sometimes people say, oh, you are the top, I look up to you. And I always say, don't look up to me. I'm on the same level that you are, I'm on your side. I'm not above or below. You know, I don't like to be on my own, and you're gonna have a pain on your neck of looking up. I don't want it to, many people say, oh, you are a source. I don't want to be a source of anything. You know, think about a river. You know, you have the source where the water comes from. I prefer to be a river that keeps going, you know, and keep asking and keep discovering things. I'm not static. But this lockdown really, how to say that, have a big effect on me artistically, personally, you know, really dent me, and the government didn't help. I appreciate the little money they send. I'm appreciating the effort the Arts Council is doing and to keep companies going, to keep places going, you know, but there are many art centers and theaters that are closing down, many companies that are closing down, that because the help comes very late. And still, we still need more support because what they give, this is going to last longer. So I hope the government or whoever is there can see that we actually need a support for a bit longer until we get on your feet again.
Yeah.
Because by what I can notice, that is going to last another year or so.
Yeah. And I think
And
for
to
me,
be back, not to be back, but to be on our feet again is another 2 years or so.
Yeah.
You
And
know, so by then we are creative, we discover other ways to go by. But anyway.
Yeah. I think for
What
me,
else, girls?
one of the most frustrating things about the way the government has handled this, and there is a long list of frustrating things about the way the government has handled this, but it's been the sort of absolute dragging of their feet to admit A, that we're important, B, that we need help, or C, that help needs to be more than just kind of throwing a pot of money at us that is going to last probably for 6 months. And this, everything you're saying, I think is so important and it's so right. And I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks this. Basically, I'm glad I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, it is gonna take a long time, and they did. That's what I found, that they didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, because we just somebody. Do you know what I mean? And I know that all the big theaters, the Ambassador, Lloyd Webber, and all that are trying their utmost, and they running shows that are not going to make, they're going to lose money. And people go to shows, people are dying to go to places, people are doing street shows and stuff. It's all full. You know, it's all happening somehow, but it's still, you know, very little. Very little. I keep thinking about the people that do the hospital crowns, or people that do other things related to the arts that are not. The museums are a bit easier because there is space. You know, you can kind of social distance yourself a bit and you watch something. But the theater, we need the audience. You need the people there, you know, and the rehearsals and the training. It's very, very frustrating that they don't see, at least on the theater, on the performing industry, they don't see the whole industry as a whole. Do you know what I mean? They put out, they are self-employed actors, they are this, they are that, self-employed set design. No, you have to see as a whole. It's part of culture, it's part of arts. And that comes to my other point, that we needed to have a department that is just for culture and not for sport and for all together. It doesn't go, different things. So anyway.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for chatting to us. But in the meantime then, if people want to find you, De Castro, where can we find you?
Well, you can go to our website, the Why Not Institute.com. You can find us there, and you can get in touch with us there. We are still looking for a suitable place for the Institute to be, is to be the home for the Institute. It's not just our office, it's a room. We need a room. It doesn't need to be a studio. If it comes with a studio, it's much better, but it doesn't need to be a studio. But it's a place where we can meet. You can be a place that got other people, that you can network, that you can be part of something. So if you know something, please get in touch, share our campaign video. That would be very nice. It's all on the website. Why not? The Why Not Institute.
Also on Facebook as well.
That's it. We are on Facebook. We are on Facebook. Why Not Institute is on Facebook, is on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. So please, just come along, right?
Amazing. And yeah, we'll put
Thank you, girls. That was very nice talking to you.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for talking to us. We'll put all the links to your social media and your website in the little description of the podcast, and I'm sure we'll tweet the video that you've got as well, and we'll share that out for you guys as well.
Yeah, we can add the hugs video. It's a lovely video.
Yeah, hugs are very good. Thank you very much, and I hope that we all can be supporting each other, and that we all allow each other to be down sometimes. Nobody's super, so we can just support each other, keep it going, and let's hope for the best.
Thank you for listening to The Voices Project. This podcast is produced by March for the Arts. The Voices Project is an open platform for anyone who is involved in any way with the arts to share their thoughts, feelings and experiences of art in the current crisis. If you would like to participate and share your voice, you can find out how to do that by visiting our website, www.marchforthearts.com. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to give us a review, subscribe or share. You can find out more about what we're doing on our social media.